Okay, so I thought of myself, right? This is the philosopher's Eden. So here's the thought. Um, every nation was created with equal power. No nation was created superior to any other nation. What makes some nations stronger than other nations? Let's look at it in the context of these trees in this garden here. You see all these trees, they're all different. They're all different sizes. And although the trees may not pose the greatest example, the trees are probably one of the natural ways to consider this scenario. Now, what determines the size of a tree? The size of a tree is determined by its root system. How vast is its root system? The bigger its root system, the bigger the tree becomes. That's how trees grow. That's how they develop into large trees. So when we look at that in the concept of races, human, in the human context, what we will see is that nations who have a stronger root history, who have stronger roots. Nations with stronger roots are stronger. Nations with weaker roots, with no roots, are weaker. With no culture, with no all of the elements that makes a community or a society. When these are destroyed, when you take down the pillars of that society, you would realize that that society becomes weak. When you cut its roots, when you cut its linkage with its roots, you would realize that that society becomes a weak society. It cannot grow as much as a society which continues to nurture and to remember its roots. Let's look at Western society, European society. European society has placed all of its culture throughout the entire year, and their dominance ensures that they celebrate their culture throughout the year. On the other hand, they have attacked your culture primarily because you've permitted it. They have attacked your culture and minimalize the influence of your culture on your life. So you no longer celebrate your holidays. You celebrate theirs. So you're constantly reinforcing their culture, growing a bigger tree for them, while your tree dries up because of the lack of roots. See, it boils down to this. It boils down to this. All nations were created with equal power. All nations were created with equal power. But there are nations who fight against themselves, like individuals who fight against themselves. An individual who fights against himself and lives in a nation that fights against itself shall find itself submissive to a nation who develops itself, who nurtures itself, who loves itself and cooperates with itself. A nation that does not cooperate with itself will certainly be the servant of a nation that cooperates with itself. And that's how we become weaker and stronger. The weaker man is nurturing habits or whatever they are conducive to him becoming weaker. How he spends his time, how he socializes, everything that he does. He makes himself weaker in the path of all of that. He makes himself weaker. And the strong nations are continuously making themselves stronger. They're building better bonds. They're getting together. They're, having their holidays, their common holidays. They're recognizing their common traits. They're sharing a common understanding. And that continues to make them stronger. It's simple, really. It's simple, really. We make or we break ourselves. No one makes us, no one breaks us. As we say, God wrongs no man, man wrongs himself. So you know that the way to get out of any situation in which you are weak is first and foremost from within yourself, to have this sense of pride, self-pride, that'll take you away from being one who fights against himself to being one who nurtures himself and thus paves the path for the future to be strong. You know, puts you in that position to be in command of your affairs. Yeah, another thought for another day.